Welcome to the channel called HAHA Lefties Lost. I want to talk about content creators. I also want to talk about player surveys, and I want to talk about how content creators have influence over these player surveys. So when we think of player surveys, we think that the majority survivors are, in theory, able to control the player surveys. This is true. This is absolutely a fact. Killers, like say, I mostly play killer. I still sometimes play some survivor, but it's not as much. I play mostly killer. So if I go on that player survey and, say what I feel about what should be in the game, it's obvious that the other four, the majority, are going to be able to say what they feel. Okay? So player surveys, and here's a reason why the content creators have such a huge dominion over them, is a lot of survivor players like to watch content creators. Okay? And I'll give you an example here, right? Okay, so remember the PTB that just happened? Alien was gonna go over some huge nerfs here. Like, it was gonna utterly almost make the character extremely useless. I don't think this was because of stats. And I think a lot of things in the game aren't because of stats. A lot of things that the developers are saying, where they're saying it's about stats, is a lie. I think it has to do with said in the player surveys. Well, in theory, you could say stats, because according to the player surveys with their stats, that could be the stats that they're referring to. But they keep trying to say it's like kills and escapes. I don't think it's about kills and escapes. I think it's about the player surveys. So Alien's gonna get nerfed, I won't mention what was gonna get nerfed on him. I'm not really interested in the character personally, and I don't play the character, but there is a content creator, his name's Mr. Headache. He plays this character. He does win streaks on him. Every one of his videos is extremely survivor-sided.
You can be part of the action.
Bullshit tech.
Brings the joy of 3D entertainment into your living room. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you my vision. The box in every home in America, and one day the world.
In local news,
Mr. Headache's Survivor propaganda box
has become the rage of
Survivor mains.
Rioting occurred last night at electronic stores which were sold out. There's hardly a home without the
Survivor propaganda box.
He always talks about basically for the favor of survivors. Okay? So as soon as he heard that his killer was going to be nerfed, okay, remember, player surveys already happened. Okay? Before this, it's obvious. It wasn't the killers complaining about Alien to be nerfed, it was survivors. And survivors complain about Alien, I believe, is because when they drop the pallet, a lot of survivors, like the low level or even the mids, will drop the pallet and then he hits the tail with it. See, Nemi also does this too, and like Dracula, but I just don't think it's as bad as, say, when you get hit with Alien, because he's able to just kind of catch back up compared to the other killers. But see, survivors don't like that kind of gameplay because they want to be able to drop the pallet and you can't do anything. It's kind of like with Clown, where you drop the God pallet and he has to break it. They like killers like that who are just useless. I guess even Huntress can do this, but she's 110, so as soon as you get around a rock loop, she's just fucked. So survivors like that. This is why he was going to get nerfed, and he was in PTB. But content creator Mr. Headache here complained about it. Now, his audience is definitely survivor mains. I've mentioned in some videos where I don't like it how content creators like to take advantage of the low and the mid-level players. I think they do that. And I think Mr. Headache, I think even like Otstarva, Scoot, a lot of these content creators do this so they can have a fake fan base. I call it a fake fan base because that's exactly what it is. It's just fake. You're just saying things to make them happy, so they just support your content for no... Like, you do like 100 win streak on Alien. Like, why would survivors even like that? And personally, I don't think the survivors that are playing against you would enjoy it either. And I also want a button right here saying how I feel about win streaks. I think win streaks are absolutely wrong for this game. No side, the survivors or the killers, should be able to have win streaks. I don't think it's healthy for the game, and I think that's one of the reasons why this game is upside down. Besides, Scourge, Pain Resonance, and perks like that, I think win streaks have pushed this game in the worst direction possible, like a VHS type of gameplay, because developers are like, okay, what do? We don't want these content creators to stop using their reshade because they have programmed the community into believing that this is completely fine. These are common concerns right here. So I'm sure that the developers are balancing around these type of win streaks, and my god, it makes the game unbearable for a vanilla player. And let me explain what a vanilla player is if you've never modded before. Being a vanilla gamer, like say you play Fallout 4, right? You play a vanilla, it means that you haven't done any modification to the game whatsoever. There are console players who are vanilla. They are always going to be vanilla, because if you modify your games on a console, like say an Xbox Series S or X or a PlayStation 4 or 5, you will breach I don't think it's a contract, but what they'll do is they'll brick your console like remotely, and then you won't be able to use it ever again. So say you are on console and you face, the ultimate hardware setup, and they're using reshade, modifications, and file manipulation, you are absolutely fucked in that match. And that guy is just winning. That guy's just winning against you, and the numbers are going up in their win streak when they literally haven't accomplished anything. And I gotta be honest, these developers, I know secretly that they hate the cheating. I know they hate the reshade and stuff. But even then, they are so slow to react against the most cunning cheaters. I have seen cheaters that there's one person, you can't find out who it is because they're that good. And they'll give buffs to the other players in the trial. I've seen a 2 PC team with a 2 Xbox team, and these 2 PC people, or one of them, was giving the Xbox players buffs. This was a couple of years ago. I don't think it's as bad as it used to be. I think the devs are secretly eliminating all the cheating here, but I have to mention that. It ruins the game, and I had to get that off my chest because that shit just bothers me.
It's not very fun. Okay? So in the player surveys, the survivors obviously complain about aliens. It's obvious, and this is not mentioned at all for some reason by the community. The community just lets it fly by because I don't know why. The DBD community just doesn't focus on these things. So he complains about it in a video. PTB rolls around. They do a little survey for the PTB. So the people that he was obviously able to convince that the nerf was way too much, obviously his subscriber base went in there and put in the player surveys not to nerf this character. The excuse is that he's a iconic character.
So if Alien's an iconic character, why weren't Leatherface and Ghostface spared from this same treatment? Because their powers work extremely well at hooks, and they were able to get kills quite well with their given playstyles. Why were hook grabs removed? Why was camping and tunneling removed here? Or made a lot harder for them to do? You see, it sometimes when you say stuff like, oh, Alien's an iconic character, well, Leatherface, that idea of throwing a survivor in the basement and camping him is exactly what he does in the movies. So you can't literally just say that Alien's iconic and get away with that. This is my point about, that he's quote-unquote iconic. It's not exactly a fair thing to say, because a lot of iconic characters have been nerfed. I could even bring up Clown because he's based off of John Gacy, you see, with the Eerie Pinky, or the redhead pinky finger. I could bring that up because that's a huge part of his kit. That's still engraved in his kit. And I have proof for that is that whenever you throw the bottle and it moves so slow, and you're like, why does it move so slow? What's the point of this? It's because of that particular add-on. That's why. So it moves this particular speed so the survivor can react to it. That's exactly why Cloud's that way. So this iconic character thing where they're saying Alien is, you know, fine because he shouldn't be nerfed because he's an iconic character is bullshit, basically. So, yep, the player surveys were able to revert this from a bunch of players that were actually obviously upset with the character. So this then proves my point that content creators can then create a narrative and change the way the game is balanced. Also, I'd like to bring up another thing with Odstarva. He brings up, this was a while back, I don't know exactly what patch it is, I'll probably put it up on the screen here, is that there was a time where healing was going to take a lot longer. Okay? So healing was going to take a lot longer because of the anti-camp changes. The devs at the time thought this would be very fair, and it was. And it actually probably would have made the game a lot better. Actually, genuinely, because of reassurance and perks like that, it would have actually probably balanced the game. But Odstarva makes a video about it. One thing I gotta mention about Odstarva that really, really pisses me off is when he lies. He lies a lot. He'll say, like, oh, the devs don't listen to me. We have a lot of videos of Odds trying to say that devs, you need to do this, and that, like 3 years ago. And after so many years, you start to realize that those things have actually been done. Iridescent Pinky, or the redhead Pinky Finger, is the biggest example for me. And it's really why I stopped watching on Starva, because I realize he's a liar. Especially with DBD, just to gain favor from survivors. I gotta say it. So, that's my video. I believe content creators shape and make a narrative for the game to make it balanced in their favor, so their streams go well, and they can just basically bully low-level and mid-level players. Now, if you disagree with me, please in the comments, you know, feel free to. But this is just what I believe from, you know, being a part of this community for a very long time. I've noticed that the content creators have a huge stranglehold on this game. And I think they're one of the biggest reasons why the game is in the worst condition it's ever been. So, and there are a lot of people who like to bring up old DBD, where they say, oh, but old DBD was worse. No, old DBD was not worse. It was balanced. And I think that pissed off a lot of people. Like I said, Survivor had infinite resources. The killer, as soon as they got the Survivor, that Survivor died. So, you know, I may go off on a tangent here and there, but I honestly do believe that the content creators are the reason this game is a disaster. So, thought I'd make that video. Hope you enjoyed it. Alright. Oh, I bet you can't wait to play like a content creator, even though you're a paying customer who was told that you could torture survivors on Hook. Oh, I bet. I bet you're ready to play like Scott, or Scoot June over there, or Scoot Dunce. I bet you're ready to just, my God.